All right, this is podcast number 1 of the Mostly Relative podcast. I am Jeff, and we have
Patrick.
yeah. So essentially, what the podcast is just going to be chopping it up about random stuff.
Mostly relative shit.
Yeah, mostly relative, and there's essentially a second meaning to that. Mostly relative is in like relatives, right? So like we're all mostly related
Yeah.
via you know, monkeys and, evolution and stuff like that. So that's kind of how we came up with the name. Was we just want to make sure that everyone knows that we are basically all related. 99.8% of all human DNA is like basically exactly the same. So
And we're also actually related too. We're brothers, so
mostly relative,
mostly relative.
mostly relative. So Pat doesn't live here. He lives in
From Connecticut, but
Connecticut, but he's
out
here
here
visiting.
out here visiting right now.
And why are you here?
Well, because I fell in love with Jeff's au pair.
Really? You fell in love.
I wouldn't say I fell in love, but you know,
You said it, not
I
me.
said it. Yeah, I guess right. You know, we're on camera now, so got to be selective about the words we say.
So essentially, the au pair program is where someone from another country comes and they help watch your kids, and it's a cultural exchange program, which I'm going to be having Alex on a different podcast here pretty soon, so we can talk more about that.
Just beefing it up on the podcast.
But yeah, so what do you think about Colorado? Like, you think you might move out or what?
Yeah, dude. Honestly, like, you know, Connecticut's great and all, but I've lived there for, you know, a good portion of my life, excluding, you know, me traveling for hockey and stuff like that. So, you know, the change in scenery out here, seeing all the big mountains and stuff like that, you definitely don't get that in Connecticut. But it's nice out here. I like it. It's different.
Yeah, for sure. What do you say we do a shot of Woodford to commemorate the very first podcast?
Hey, shout out to Woodford Reserve. You know, we're not sponsored by you guys, but you know,
Not
if you guys,
yet.
if you
Not
guys
yet.
want to send us some bottles so we could keep doing this on the podcast,
It is the
that'd be pretty cool.
choice of drink for. It's the official drink of the Mostly Relative podcast. So we're both really not big drinkers. So if you're lucky, we may get a little bit drunk and start talking about really weird stuff. So. All right, ready?
Cheers, man.
Cheers, buddy.
Ooh,
Very smooth.
not too shabby. So, Jeff, let's dive in a little bit. You want to give us a little background on you?
Background on me: left Connecticut when I was 18, joined the Air Force, um, and lived all over the world. Did time down in Florida where I went to college. Shout out to NSU Sharks, fins up. And I met my wife down there. We moved out to Colorado. I'm big in science and tech. I have a bunch of fancy degrees, so at least it makes me look smart on paper. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's it.
yeah. What about you?
Yeah. Uh, like I said before, played hockey for a good portion of my life. So that took me to different parts of America, North America. Did some time out in Canada. Um, lived in Maine for a little bit for hockey. Lived in Ohio a little bit for hockey. Lived in Florida as well. And now I'm just trying to find my path in life. You know. Now I'm out here in Colorado. See what this brings. Hopefully things are looking up here. You know, I'm only 27, so I got a lot of time left. Still pretty young in the male aspect of the world.
Yeah. So, you have a couple job prospects out here,
Yep.
and we hope you can move out. I think that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I think so too. I think now one thing I hear a lot of people saying is, you know, you are, you know, who you associate yourself with, and I think there is a lot of people out here that are, you know, like high value men. You know, shout out, full send. I throw that out there, but you know, there's a lot of people out there, and like, you know, I want to, you know, be successful in life, you know. And I think with me being in Connecticut, there's a lot of limitations there, you know.
Yeah. So I don't want to get too far into it, but what does success mean for you? Right? Like it means different things for different people. And I had a different thought about what success was. I used to think it was just six figures and then all that other stuff, but once you progress, it's like it means something different. So for you right now at age 27,
At age 27,
yep.
successful means to me to have fuck you money.
And what does that mean?
That pretty much everything's free, right? Not obviously everything's not free, but I could go on a vacation and I could just swipe my card and I don't have to worry about anything. You know what I mean? So essentially it's free, but it's not free because I'm still paying it, but I have enough money where things really don't matter.
So would you consider me to be successful then?
I think you and the people that you associate yourself with are pretty successful. Yes.
Well, I definitely appreciate that.
No problem, man.
Yeah. It's life definitely gets a lot easier when you don't have to worry about money as much.
Yeah, no,
Sure.
like that the buddy we were having lunch with today. The guy was just out just ripping around on his P1 for a week, doing those things for the what was that, Cars for Kids?
Yep.
Doing stuff like that. Like that's what being successful is, being able to do stuff like that. Obviously, you still have a job and you still have to work and stuff like that, but you could do things like that where, your time like where your time is, what you want to do, because I think at the end of the day, time is really the only thing that we have. It's just like, and the clock is always ticking. So it's like to be able to be successful is to have as much time to do whatever you want and to have fuck you money.
So you've been in jiu-jitsu now, not
Mm.
to take a super hard right here,
Bang.
but you've been in jiu-jitsu now for about a year, right?
Yep.
And you've done competitions, or you've done one. You got
Yeah.
second, right?
Got second.
What's your we went last night into the competition class.
We did, yeah.
What do you think? What do you think about Fulcrum Jiu-Jitsu? Shout out to Evan and Josiah, and hopefully we get them on the podcast here pretty soon.
Yeah, shout out to the Fulcrum guys. It was a little bit different than what I was used to last night at that competition training. It was still great, high intensity, drilling a lot of good stuff that you need to do, because in those situations when you are in a competition, you get like the odds of you really like sitting in spider guard or something like that for a long period of time. You will find yourself in those positions, obviously, and you need to be good at all those. But I think, really drilling like the fundamentals is what gets you good at jujitsu. You know what I mean? Like knowing how to sweep people from full guard, different submissions from full guard, from mount, what to do in mount. And one thing I really liked is like the whole point system that they do. If you compete in jiu-jitsu, you know that there's a point system. You get X amount of points for a takedown, you get X amount of points for a sweep, taking somebody's back and stuff like that. And what we were doing last night was first person to get a point. That's kind of who won the round. We were doing like a little round robin type thing, which was pretty cool. So like there's like groups of 3 of us, and once one person got that point, the next person went in. So like you could be sitting there for a minute resting, or you could be sitting there for 10 seconds. So like your heart rate is always elevated, and you're always working hard.
Yeah, so it's definitely a solid workout. I did a bit of rolling when I was in the military. Definitely not the level that the guys are doing at the gym for sure.
Right.
You definitely think you're going to go in there and dominate, and then you get humbled really fucking quickly, right?
Yeah, that's my favorite thing. Is like you see these people that think they're good at whatever it might be, whether they think they're a good fighter, or they think they're good at basketball or whatever. They come in here and they're like, oh, I could do that. Like I'm pretty athletic, and then they come in here and they get humbled really quick because there's a guy that you might be 200 pounds. There's a guy that's 155 that wraps you up like a bean burrito real quick, and you're like, yo, how did that happen? It's definitely a humbling experience for sure.
Oh, for sure. And my local black belt, Evan Barrett, again, shout out. I really want you on the podcast. He sent out a YouTube video talking about athleticism versus skill, and how much athleticism comes into play when it comes to jiu-jitsu, right? How you can have someone off the street, say just a freak athlete, and they can do some damage against people that have a lot more skill. And I think that's a really interesting kind of notation because just I've been going for about a month now, and it's in my mind it's skill, 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 skill. But there definitely are people that are way better than me. I do consider myself to be pretty athletic.
Mm.
I ran, in college,
Right.
D2 track and cross country, swam, and I just I'm just a, I consider myself to be a pretty natural athlete. And there definitely are people there that are blue belts and stuff that are not. And I definitely feel like there are people that are blue belts that are easier for me to handle than even, people like Josiah,
Yeah,
right? Who's
definitely.
he himself is kind of a freak athlete
Right, right,
who's a
right.
blue belt, much smaller than me, but he definitely puts a hurting on me for sure.
See, I
Like,
think I think with, like, the whole athleticism to, skill thing, I think it's more coordination than it is athleticism, right? Because I mean, obviously, if you're athletic, you're gonna be coordinated, right, or vice versa. But if you're not coordinated, then I don't think you're gonna be as successful because, like, for me, like, I played hockey, so, like, I have a lot of hand-eye, hand-foot, coordination where, like, you could focus on what your hands are doing, what your feet are doing, as well as everything else, you know? So I think if you don't have any coordination, I think you're gonna struggle a little bit more in jujitsu than the person would be, if they were more coordinated, but that like I said, coordination and athleticism go hand in hand. You know, baseball, you need hand-eye, soccer, foot-eye,
yeah,
you
for
know?
sure, for sure. I definitely like if you look at athleticism, just like you look at flexibility, your coordination, all that stuff. If you're just super flexible, just in general, right? You don't have
Yeah.
to be that strong. You can be moderately strong, moderately coordinated, and if you're super flexible, I feel like that's going to be a huge help in jujitsu.
Oh,
It's just
yeah.
like doing like what's it called, a go-go plata or
Yeah, yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
right? Just getting your leg over their neck, like
And not
it's
even
pretty
that, like,
cool.
again,
Yeah,
like, stack guard, like, getting stacked, like,
yeah,
when someone, like, forces your knees behind your head, like, if
yeah,
you're not flexible, like, that's, like,
yeah,
a very uncomfortable position to be in.
yeah, for sure. And I also just want to say that we're both white belts.
Yeah.
So
It's
if
not
we,
like we're
so
anything.
if we can get Evan or like Josiah or any of the people from Fulcrum on to talk about this more intelligently, I think that'd be ideal for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I think so too.
Yeah. Yeah.
The higher that, honestly, I don't think Jeff would mind, the more people that we can get on here to, like, talk about different opinions and stuff like that, the better, honestly, you know?
Yeah. For sure. I think someone's phone is ringing. Can you hear that?
Yeah. Is it yours? I think it's coming from this table. Ah, it's gone now.
Oh, that was weird.
Check the camera's good.
Yeah. All the cameras are good.
Um,
But yeah, so I mean, jujitsu, you know, it's highly coveted by guys like Jocko and Joe Rogan and stuff, and they say that you can basically apply it to everyday
everything.
life. Yeah, and
Honestly, it's a mentality thing, honestly. Like, once you get into it, like, it all goes back to getting humbled the first day you get in, like, and, like, you might be scared to go the first day, right? But, like, you get, like, there's no reason to, because if you find a good gym, everybody's gonna be pretty welcoming, and, like, they just wanna see you be consistent with it. The biggest thing with jujitsu is being consistent. Set a goal for yourself. Set a goal. All right, I wanna go 2 times a week for the first month, and then after that, up it to 3 times, but you just need to stay consistent with it, and, like, that's, like, one thing that, it takes people so long to go from white belt to blue belt because they are so inconsistent with it, because it sucks. Pretty much every day you go in there, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, you get beat up. You know what I mean? You do.
yeah, absolutely. And like another thing too is just hours, right?
Yeah.
So say you've been going consistently for 6 months, but you go twice a week
Yeah.
for 6 months. You're gonna get smoked by someone very quickly by someone that's going every single day, twice a day, for 4 hours a day,
Right.
right?
Yeah,
It's
definitely.
like whoever's gonna put in more time is gonna wind up getting more out of it,
Yeah,
right?
definitely. Mhm.
So um, I definitely notice people that go to that gym a lot,
Yeah.
and from what I've read, there's a lot of animosity for people that wait, you know, years to get their blue belt or purple belt or whatever, but they're only going once or twice a week,
Yeah.
as opposed to, and then they see someone that's been there for 6 months to a year, and they're getting promoted faster, but they're putting in a lot more time, right?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I
Yeah,
mean, especially my gym back home, shout out Jitsu Academy. Um, like, back home, like, there's people that are, like, you could see, like, they're there twice a day, 5 days a week, and they're grinding, and they're getting promoted a lot faster than the people that only go, once a day, like you said, 2 or 3 times a week, like, it's really however much you wanna put in is what you're gonna get out of it.
absolutely, yeah. And what's really cool about just the jiu-jitsu community, especially to my veterans out there, if you're looking for a community that's close, comparable to what you got in the military, join a jiu-jitsu gym
Oh,
for
yeah, dude,
sure.
because everybody's most of the time, unless you find, like, a gym, like, it's very odd, but, like, I know there are gyms out there that, like, aren't very welcoming, but, like, most of the time you'll find a gym and it's like a little family, Because there's only probably about, I don't know, how many people would you say are at Fulcrum? Like maybe like 40, 50 people?
Yes, something like that. I'm not
Like, I mean, I could be
100% sure.
wrong. There could be hundreds, but like for the most part, the people that you're going to see every day are the same people. You know what I mean? Like you probably have those odd outliers that come in, but like for the most part, it's like a little close knit family. You know what I mean? And like no one's going in there to hurt each other. You know what I mean? Everybody's going in there to get better. And whether you want to compete or not, some people go in there and they train, they just do it for fun. You know, some people go in there because they want to compete. I know me personally. I was like a competitor all my life, playing hockey and stuff like that. It's just like you get those butterflies in your stomach. You know what I mean? And it's like something that if you've done it for a while, you wanna feel that. You know what I mean? Like you want to feel that competitiveness where like you go out and like you get nervous right before you go and compete, and then like when you're done, you're like like this is why I do it because it feels good when you're done. Whether you win or lose, like I know I was pretty upset when I lost the first time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like
And
like coming in second and like that sucks, but like you did it. It felt good. It got you like got that itch that you've always had.
yeah, no, for sure. And just getting that competition in, yeah, it's it's definitely big, right? Competing, in swimming or running or whatever, like you really can't get that anymore unless you're in like a men's league team or whatever.
Yeah, definitely.
But in jiu-jitsu, you can definitely like skill. I definitely think jiu-jitsu is a very merit type sport. Like you can be one of the best jiu-jitsu players in the world right now, and you're gonna get recognized for it on the world stage,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I mean, we got
So,
we got ADCCs coming up this weekend. Gordon Ryan versus Andre Galvao. That's like jiu-jitsu probably in the past like 3 or 4 years is really starting to get bigger now. So
oh yeah, for sure, absolutely. Yeah, it's like another thing too. I really like about Fulcrum here in Castle Rock is that the guys are kind of weird like me.
yeah,
So
definitely
like,
a bunch of IT guys out there and
well,
stuff.
like not just IT guys, but like talking about like conspiracy theory type stuff,
Yeah,
right? Where
there's
it's like,
a lot of like same-minded people out there.
yeah, I
You know.
really, I really, really need to get Josiah on the podcast because
Yeah,
he's
facts, dude.
he's
Yo, like yesterday when we were like when we were just like warming up or whatever, and like he
yeah,
was just like shooting the shit, and he's like, somebody was like, yeah, Josiah's gonna come in next week with fucking tinfoil on his head or something like that.
right. No, he's into some of these conspiracy theories. I was at the gym just talking to him for
Yeah,
like probably 2 hours one day
after rolling.
after rolling. Yeah, and well, I mean, there is some merit there, right? Like um, all that alien and UFO stuff that came out in the government.
Yeah, the Navy was saying some shit about how they have like a bunch of information on like UFOs now that like if they like release it, it'll like change the world and stuff. Like,
Yeah, and like it got snuck into like that COVID bill, right? Where
yeah, the New York Times.
how it said that the government has to release, I don't know, thousands of documents on what they
Yeah,
know about UFOs or
but they did it very strategically. It was in the prime of COVID. So like I feel like they were able to like kind of like sneak that in there. So it was kind of like look past, you know what I mean? Because everybody was like so so afraid of COVID. So they're like, hey, let's throw this in there now so that no one actually sees it and it doesn't raise any eyebrows.
like if you think about it from like back in like the 90s, right? Where you have, you know, here's a headline that I'm showing on the screen right
Mm.
now from like MSNBC News, like official. Top defense official says government received about 400 reports of UFOs and they're releasing them, right?
Yeah.
So all this stuff that, is coming out about, these like UFOs is, it's like official.
Yeah, so
Like,
all those people that don't believe in aliens, fuck you.
well, we don't know if they're aliens or not.
I mean, what like unidentifiable aircrafts? Like what I would like. I mean, like what else could those be? I mean, like military, like testing shit. Like
I seriously think the thing is like we don't know what they are,
yeah,
right? Like we just don't know. And Brant at lunch was telling us how, they're trying to like they have one from like an archaeological dig
yeah, yeah.
from like however long ago, from like
Like
the 30s or
yeah,
something like that.
like 100 years ago, like 70,
And
80
they
years ago.
and they have people that are looking at like kind of reverse engineering it. It's supposed to be some type of like gravity displacement device, which
Yeah,
like I know enough about physics to know that I don't think that that's possible personally. But again,
right.
you
You don't
really
know.
don't know what you don't know. I think it's just really interesting that it's definitely a discussion that's happening right now, right? Think about it, like, dude, like back in the 80s, if mainstream media came out with an article like this,
Oh my
people
god.
people would lose their
They
fucking
would go
minds.
nuts.
110%, right? So it's like,
But,
I
like,
don't
do you
know.
think people don't lose their minds now because of how advanced in technology we are?
I think people don't lose their minds now because no one gives a fuck.
Yeah?
Like,
Do you
honestly.
think there's just, like, other shit that people worry about
Yeah.
now? Like
It's like aliens, it's like, okay,
yeah.
like, whatever,
Mm.
right? Like, I think, like, also extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence,
Yeah,
right?
right, yeah.
So, like, to get people seriously interested, there would have to be a UFO landing somewhere that, you have them interviewed on fucking CNN or Fox News or
Yeah,
something like that,
right.
right?
Yeah.
Or like
Like in Scary Movie 4 when the alien's, like, pissing out of his finger.
or something,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right? It's like it's so
You
I
need
don't know.
that hard, cold evidence to prove that aliens are real.
Yeah, no, for sure. And there are a lot of theories out there too. One that I personally like is, it's us in the future coming back,
Oh,
right?
yeah, right.
Like us in the future, millions of years in the future, if we're even still around,
Yeah,
right? Apocalyptic event could happen,
right.
and Earth is
Wipe
gone.
everybody out.
I think that it's a possibility that aliens are just humans in the future
So
coming back in a time machine. Because it's like every movie that you've ever seen, it's like, hey, if you can go back in time, you're not supposed to mess with anything. And what have aliens been doing, quote unquote, so far?
right.
Observing, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Except for
yeah.
the people that claim to be abducted,
Yeah.
right?
Well, like you said, like, like we come back in time or whatever you're saying. Um, little off topic, but what the hell do you think deja vu is? Do you think that is like
I actually read a book on deja vu.
really?
So essentially, what this book says deja vu is like your brain interpolating data.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, let's say you drove your car, you ate a bean burrito, and
Yeah.
then you took a piss,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or something like that. And then after you took the piss, maybe you fell. I
Yeah.
don't know, something.
Okay.
That may have happened 10 years ago. But your brain is like, okay, I just ate a bean burrito.
Oh shit! This has already happened.
Right. Or it's something that you observe, right? So you
Yeah, yeah.
observe me doing that activity
Yeah.
and your brain sees it.
See, like I have fucking deja vu sometimes where like I'll be driving a car and like I feel like I've been in that situation before. You know what I mean? I remember last time I was here in Colorado, I was driving and like I think I was actually coming back from jujitsu, and like I was driving and I was like, yo, I feel like I was in this car, in this scenery, driving this route before. Like I don't know, it was weird.
No, the brain is definitely very interesting. I had to have a brain surgery in 2015.
Right? Yeah, yeah.
And I learned a lot about the brain just because it's my own health, right?
Did you know that like actually like you could like tap into more than what is it like 25% of your brain that they say that you use?
Yeah, so that's all fake, right? That
Like that you only used only 25% of your
yeah,
brain, or that you
like
could tap into
like
more of it?
we definitely use all of our brain
Yeah,
for
yeah,
sure. It's there's no max capacity for storage of information,
yeah,
for example, but your whole brain is being used, right? I'm not a brain or a neuro expert or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
But I know,
Right,
like,
right, right.
the left side of your brain is used for this, right side of your brain
Yeah.
is used for that, yada 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 yada, right? So it's like all of it's being used,
Mhm.
but like at what capacity is it being used at? I definitely think there are dumb people and there are smart people,
Yeah.
for sure. But what I learned about my endeavors with my own health is that we don't know shit about the brain.
Yeah.
Like doctors, PhDs, MDs, all that other stuff have been researching the brain for fucking hundreds of years, right? Like
Right.
since forever.
Yeah.
And we don't know any more than we did like back in like the 60s or 70s, right? Aside from certain studies, if there's anyone watching that's like a brain expert or whatever, please put in the
Hey.
comments or whatever. Maybe we can have you on. But like the only advancements that I've found are either biological,
Mm.
right, on the chemical side, or like just random studies, right? Like there's this guy named Kinsey that did studies on male brains and female brains, which is actually super controversial now because of what's going on with our just culture and subcultures, right?
Right.
Of men and women, and whether it's a social construct or not, genders and gender identity and stuff. Kinsey, not me, wrote a book about the male brain, and then he
Yeah.
wrote a book about the female brain and its differences and things like that, where female brain's a lot better connected.
Mhm.
So the logical side and the emotional side are a lot better connected, which is why Kinsey says is why women are more emotional. right?
Right, right.
They tap into that emotional side of their brain a little bit more.
Mhm.
Whereas men, our brains are more disconnected, which is why it's easier for men to make really fucked up choices, right? So
Yeah.
like in business, for example, right? Say someone just had a baby and yada yada yada. I have no problem firing them if they are a poor performer,
Right.
right?
Because you as a male, you just don't have that
Statistically, a woman would struggle with that decision because of the emotional
because you
side of her
right.
brain,
Right, right,
right?
right.
Um, and that's I don't know if that's true or not.
Yeah.
It's what I read in the book, and it was just kind of like an interesting kind of notion,
I
right?
think definitely as like from like a personal perspective, I feel like it's personal. Not saying this is factual. This is personal, but I definitely feel like women are more emotional than men, and they definitely show their emotions a lot more than men do.
I would agree with that.
You know,
Yeah.
like just like like something happens, they cry or whatever it is, but like I feel like men they tend to just like hide it, or they just don't, or they just simply don't have those feelings at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. No, it's a very very kind of interesting notation for sure.
But I feel like that kind of you know brings us into like that whole cancel culture thing. You know what I mean? Like because
Yeah,
like we were talking about that male, that female thing, and like I know there's a lot of controversy going in with you know the whole thing that we were just like talking about. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of
it
people that
is
are
super dangerous for people like us to talk about this stuff publicly. For
yeah.
sure.
No, definitely. And
Like
but like what confuses me is that there's all these people that have different views, right? And not one of those people gets in trouble for it, right? Like I know there's many people that are trying to cancel people like Andrew Tate, people like Snako, like people like that, right? That are literally doing the same thing as like what we're saying, but to them, they are discriminating on bald men. They are discriminating on fit people. They're like making you like feel bad because either you're bald or you're being fit. It's like they're trying to like change the agenda. You know what I mean? Why aren't those people getting canceled?
so to play devil's advocate, right? So
Obviously.
I'll hit you with, an argument here. Some people believe that people like Andrew Tate
Mm.
are dangerous to culture,
Right.
right? You can make an argument that he is promoting that women should be property,
Right.
right? And that you should take like ownership of your girlfriend or wife or
Mm.
whatever, right?
Right.
And he does say that a bunch in a lot of his videos,
No,
right?
correct.
Where he's like, I want to take ownership of this,
Mm.
right? And yada yada yada. Which, you know, I think a solid argument there is made for canceling someone like that because that could be perceived as being like toxic conversation, right?
Yeah, but I think he also says a lot of good things too. Like you know, one of the things that I think really resonated with me was like, um, you know, guys are supposed to do three things. They're supposed to be providers, they're supposed to be protectors, and they're supposed to be supporters, right? For their families, for their wives, for everything. If you know, these other people are trying to say that, like it's okay to not be those three things for your family.
So so you just said that he says a lot of good things too.
Yes.
So
But he
if
does
I say
okay, so he does say some fucked up things like, okay, like one thing that I don't agree with him with on is, having more than one, you know, like significant other. Whether you're with a guy or a girl, whatever you're with. For me personally, I don't think it's cool to be with more than one girl at a time. You know what I mean? I think if you actually truly love somebody, you're going to be with that one person and that one person only.
so my argument originally was you said that he says a lot of good things,
Yes.
right? But he's being canceled for the bad things that he says,
Right.
not for the good things,
Right, right.
right? I think that if I say all good things, if I say 99% good things,
Mhm.
but then I say one super toxic thing,
Right.
like next level,
Mhm.
I'm not even going to say it, right? But if I say something next level toxic, that one thing, I I don't it's tough for me because I don't believe that I do believe in freedom of speech. I do, like 100%,
Right.
right? I I can see like the one video that didn't settle with me with on Andrew Tate was the one where he had the machete
Mm.
and he's like, I want to like do whatever to this girl with this like
Oh yeah,
you
but
know what I'm
that
saying like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's super fucked
Yeah,
up.
but that actually came out, and that was actually like it was like a role. They were like role playing.
It
That
was
actually
like satire.
yeah, 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 yeah. But
So what are
okay,
they
whoa,
trying
whoa,
to?
whoa, okay. So my point was that if Andrew Tate says those bad things, right, and now there's these I don't even know what the right word to call it is. Is like there's these people that are trying to cancel him that are doing the same thing as him, right? They're saying that you don't have to be fit, you don't have to be active. They're pretty much promoting obesity, right? And they're promoting, being bald is bad. Why aren't those people getting canceled?
Who's saying being bald is bad?
Oh, like they're not saying being bald is bad. They're saying that like this bald-headed guy. So they're using it in like a like a vulgar context almost. You know what I mean? Like they're like saying that like because he's bald, he's this type of person. They're like they're like what's that word? They're oh god, it's like categorizing, but what's like the
What?
oh my god.
What are you talking about? Like bald people that are in prison or something?
No, just saying bald people in general. Like if you're bald and you are in good shape, you're like you are, an image of Andrew Tate pretty much. So then why aren't those people getting canceled for saying that? If they're still discriminating on people like that, if Andrew Tate's saying
So the
that
left,
that it's okay to have
yeah.
4 or 5 wives, but then these other people come out and say, "Oh, well, if you're bald and you're fit and you take care of yourself, then you're a bad person." They're pretty much saying the same thing, but those aren't the people that are getting canceled.
So the left pretty much owns cancel culture,
Right.
right? The right doesn't give a fuck.
No, no, no,
Like
no.
most of the people on the right, they are completely oblivious. Not I want to say oblivious, but they just don't care.
Mm.
The right's on the grind, right?
Yeah, yeah.
The world right now, as we see it, belongs to the Republicans,
Yeah.
right? All of the social norms, everything is very conservative and traditional.
Right.
Where the issue comes in is the left coming in and they want to change a lot of those social constructs, right?
Right. They
Say,
want to
hey,
promote obesity and all that stupid
well,
shit.
I don't think they're wanting to promote obesity. And I'm not left or right. I'm just making the argument, right?
Right, right.
So hold on. So they don't want to promote obesity. They want to promote
Body positivity.
body positivity, right? And they say that because like there are people that suffer with obesity and whatever, like there's all kinds
But
of like weird medical conditions which makes up a small percentage of
which is bullshit. But
well no it's not, because a small percentage of people that are obese, there's really not a whole lot that they can do about it. Like I'm not saying the majority of people should go to the gym, the majority of people should be eating right and doing all that stuff, right?
right.
The left's ideology is that to kind of cater to the people that no matter what they do, they'll never lose weight.
Right.
And there are people that are like that. Just like how they cater to, the 0.00 whatever percent of, trans people, right? It's like there's a very small percentage of the population that identify like that, but the left wants everyone, our whole society to change to be more accepting of that type of ideology, right?
Now let me ask
So
you a
it's like
question.
I don't know if I agree with it. I don't know if I don't. I don't really know enough about it
Right,
personally.
right.
I know a few trans people personally.
Yeah.
Great people.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No,
Um,
I don't have anything, you know what I mean, like
like
against those people or anything, but like
and
I think
also
like
and also being a veteran too, right? Suicide is a huge thing
right.
in my community.
Right, right, right.
The trans people have a lot worse issues with dealing with suicide in their community.
Yeah, but I mean, that's just gonna get a little touchy here. But like I feel like a lot of those people, those trans and all those people are doing it because they did not get the proper attention they did when they were growing up.
What do you mean?
What do I mean by that is like they were the people in high school or the people in middle school or the people in college that didn't have a lot of friends. They didn't get invited to all the parties. They didn't, they weren't outgoing people. And now that it's 2022 and these are the people that are getting all the attention because of the LGBTQ plus community, that they're like, okay, I want to do this now. And I guarantee in 20 or 40 years from now, those people are going to be like, what the fuck did I do? I can't have kids. I can't have a family. I can't do any of this shit. But they were happy with how their life was for 5 or 6 years. Does that make sense?
I definitely think that there are probably some people that are like that,
Yeah.
for sure.
But I mean, to really think about it, like, you were, like, if you're born as a guy, like, like, how do you think that you just all of a sudden want to be a female? Like, you want to chop your private parts off, and you know what I mean? Like, how, like, where, like, is there, like, it just does not make sense. Like, I feel like most of it is an attention thing.
I definitely think that,
No, but I mean, you said you knew some trans people, so you know, I don't really know
yeah,
any,
no,
like,
no, no, for sure. I definitely think that they probably most likely felt that way for the majority of their lives, right?
right. And now,
And
okay,
some of those people, like one of them I know,
how old are they?
older,
Like, older
30s,
than you, like,
30s, 40s.
okay.
Yeah. And a few of them were like, I knew I was like this since I was like 6 years old
Mm.
or 7 years old.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right. So they knew, just they couldn't come out with that
Mm.
until now because it wasn't socially acceptable.
Yeah.
Now it's very socially acceptable to come out like this. There's all kinds of protections and laws, and
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know, and from what I understand, that whole community is very welcoming and stuff like that. And
well, they're welcoming to their own kind. Like, if you're like I would agree with you, but like, if if they watched half their, like, watch my opinion, because obviously, like, I have a different opinion, they would not be welcoming to me. You know what I mean? Like, if after this shit that I just said, like, there's no way
they wait.
that they
So when you
would.
say so when you say they, you mean them as a community?
Yes.
Or are you saying so? One thing that I don't believe in is I don't believe in tribal culture.
Mm.
Like I don't believe that all this group does this
Yeah, yeah,
or
yeah.
they all think this way.
Right.
I believe in the individual. I
Okay.
think that some individuals that identify as whatever
Yeah.
would accept you
Right.
as a friend because you're a nice guy,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and some of them wouldn't.
Right.
Right? So it's like to say all of these people or all
Right.
of this community is like this. I definitely don't think that you can paint every single person with a single brush.
No. Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying?
No, and I think that's where, like, a lot of the confusion comes from, because, like, obviously, and this goes back to what Andrew Tate would say. He would say women are bad drivers, right? He would say that, right? He would say women are bad drivers. A majority of women are bad drivers, but
I don't know if I agree with that.
but
Dude.
but there are outliers that are better drivers. You know what I mean?
So why do you think women are bad drivers?
Okay, personal experience, not factual. Most of the time,
We need to move this camera. Like you can barely see me on that camera, by the way. Uh,
but
Go ahead and finish your thought, and
Okay.
then I'll respond, and then if you can adjust that camera.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So whenever, like I said, personal experience, not factual. Whenever I've ever gone downtown with a female, 99.9% of the time, she goes, "Hey, can you parallel park for me?"
See, again, you're painting all women with a single brush.
No, I said there are outliers. I said there are outliers. There are definitely outliers. You know what I mean? But what I'm saying is, majority of women are bad drivers.
No way. Like I don't like. I disagree with Andrew Tate on that because I definitely think that in that sense, I think that men and women are 100% basically on the same plane, right? I think there are outliers of. All right, right there, right there. I definitely think that there are outliers of men that are horrible fucking drivers too.
Oh, fuck yeah. I know.
You know what I mean?
I know
Well,
dudes that are horrible drivers.
and not even outliers. I'm saying like I don't know. We'll have to look at the stats, right? So you keep on talking, and I'll pull up some stats on women and female
Yeah, yeah.
drivers versus men drivers, and who gets into more accidents.
Yeah, for sure. But hey, like I said, I did state that it was my opinion and it was not factual. That's what like
But what are you basing your opinion on?
my
what?
personal experience. My
Yeah.
personal experience.
But your personal experience isn't exclusive to like the whole general population,
No, right. It's just the way
right?
that
Just
I think.
because it's my experience that I don't know. every piece of broccoli I've ever tasted like shit doesn't mean that broccoli in general tastes like shit.
Would you eat it though?
Just all the broccoli that I've had personally didn't taste good. That does
Right,
not mean
and
that
then
broccoli tastes bad.
no, right. But then what? Like your opinion on broccoli is not good.
I think it's good for you.
Right, no. But I'm saying if every time you ate broccoli and you were like, oh, dude, this shit's not good, would you continue to eat it?
Yes, because it's good for you. Okay, I have a. You're on. Okay, so it doesn't look like that's actually popping. All right, I'll go back to this input. So I found some data from Malman Law, who causes more accidents, men or women. Looks like women drive 30% less than men do on an annual basis.
Okay.
So women are on the road less.
Right. I wonder
Federal Highway Administration.
is that because men tell no, okay. Is that because the women tell the man to drive when they're together? Because odds are the woman probably feels safer with the man driving.
It says that men, the IHS reports that crashes with male drivers are more severe. So when guys are getting into accidents,
Yeah.
they're fucking killing people.
Okay.
Like literally, right?
Mm.
I think women get into more
Overall accidents.
but they're not killing people.
I mean, I guess that makes sense. Guys
Women
normally
get
drive
30%.
faster.
Women get 30% less traffic violations, even though they're on the road less. So that was normalized. Who gets more DUIs?
Probably men.
Who do you
Because
think?
see, but this is where it gets messed up. Because if I feel like most of the time, if there's a guy and a girl going somewhere traveling together, odds are the guy's going to drive.
Okay, so listen to this statement.
Okay.
Okay. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration reports that men cause an average of 6.1 million accidents per year in the U.S., and women cause 4.4 million accidents per year. Males do 62% of the driving, but only cause 58% of the accidents. So women do slightly cause more accidents per capita than men do. I do, however, so a study done by the University of Michigan found that female drivers mostly cause fender benders, non-injury accidents, considering that women are safer drivers on every front than men.
I think that's a confidence thing, though. I feel like men feel more confident behind the wheel than women do.
I don't think so.
You
Wait,
think so?
why do you think that?
What do you mean? Because guys, it sounds fucked up to say, but if you're doing 120, you need to have confidence in yourself to drive 120 miles an hour.
You just made the point. Women aren't driving 120
because they don't have the confidence to drive 120 miles an hour.
I think they're smarter.
I think they're scared.
Smarter.
I think fear trickles in.
I think they're.
I
think women, and again, I don't like painting an entire group of people with a single brush. I think women are like, why the fuck do I need to do 120 down this road? There are women outliers. They're like, fuck it, let's do Fast and the Furious and just haul ass. But for the most part, the data doesn't lie. They're not driving that fast because they're not causing deadly accidents.
Yeah.
Like if you crash,
no, I understand that.
If you crash into someone at 120,
you're gonna die. Odds are you're going to die.
Or being seriously fucked up.
Or yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Yes, I agree with you on that.
So I definitely. So sorry to Andrew Tate. I do not agree that women are worse drivers than men. I don't.
Andrew Tate, I'm still on. I'm going to bat for you, brother. I am.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think that, like, ultimately, I don't think that Andrew Tate should have been canceled.
No, I don't think so.
I don't. Just he didn't say things that were on par with big tech ideology.
Right. Yeah. Right? Exactly.
And there's a war on masculinity.
Yeah.
For sure. And
I think there's a war on masculinity. There's a war on laziness. There's a war on just overall, like you said, like just like being a man.
Like, I think that there's a misconception between what's going on with masculinity, and I don't like to say toxic masculinity, but what I mean by that is what it means to be masculine is you are a protector of your loved ones and others, right?
A protector, a provider, supporter.
Example being, I'm on the train, right, going to work or coming back from work. It's 9 o'clock at night or whatever, and I see some douchebag dude you know, being belligerent and harassing girls on the train,
Yeah.
it's my masculine energy that's standing up and saying, "Dude, get the fuck out of
Yeah.
these chicks' faces. They're not into it."
Right.
Right? And like so for there so for there to be a war on that, for the people say, "Hey, that's those girls should be able to take care of themselves." No,
Right.
that's just it's super fucked up.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Definitely.
it's like what it means to be a man and what it means to be masculine. There's 100% a war on that right now
Yeah.
because right now our society is essentially teaching women and girls that it's okay to be more masculine.
Right.
So they're teaching women to be girls and they're teaching men to be more feminine and all this other stuff. So they're teaching women to be girls and they're teaching men to be women,
Yeah.
right? Essentially, or
Right.
to be
Right.
more. I don't want to say men and women, but they're teaching men to be more feminine. They're teaching women to be
More
more masculine,
masculine.
right?
Right.
Where it's like I definitely. So Andrew Tate definitely speaks about this, where he says essentially, men be a man,
Yeah.
right? Just be a fucking man.
Right.
And I definitely think that means a big part of that is being a protector of loved ones and others. When I see shit going on in my office,
Yeah.
right? So this happened at one of my jobs in the past where I hired an intern, I don't know, like a 21-year-old girl or whatever. And I'm getting some feedback here. Hold on. And what was happening was one of the employees just kept on going in there, right?
Yeah.
Just like kept on bothering her.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, hey, let's go on a date or whatever. And it's
Right.
like it's my masculine energy that went up to that guy was like, dude, you need to fucking cut it out.
Yeah. One, she
it's-
probably already said no to you, and two, you're at work, man. Like,
Dude,
if she said
you're
no
in the
once,
workplace. You're in the workplace. One, if she's into it, that's one
yeah,
thing.
yeah, oh
I
yeah,
wouldn't have
absolutely,
said anything. But she wasn't, and you could tell.
Yeah.
Like, I just tell by the body language.
right, yeah, you
right?
can just tell, like,
So it's like, why am I the bad guy for standing up for her?
no, right,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah, no, you shouldn't be,
But on the other end, right? On the other end of the spectrum is there was a girl that was promoted. Like she was a very attractive girl,
Yeah.
promoted, total badass. Like she worked harder than everyone else.
mm-hmm.
She knew more than everyone else, right? And in the lunchroom or whatever, or like in the break room, you hear people talking about, oh, hey, did you hear so and so got that big promotion?
Yeah.
Like, it's only because she's hot.
Yeah,
or-
right,
And I fucking jumped all over him.
right.
Like, dude, you guys are fucking crazy. She's way smarter than you. She works
She
way
puts
harder
the
than
fucking
you.
work
She
in.
puts in the time, and it's like I almost like, and I definitely think that professional women that are attractive
Yeah,
get a bad rap because people think that they don't deserve what they get because they're attractive.
right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Like imagine you're like a 10 girl
yeah, right,
and
right.
you're in a high-powered law firm
Yeah,
and you're better than everyone else.
everybody just thinks you got that position because you're a smoke show.
It's got to suck.
Yeah, oh, yeah, 100%.
Honestly, like
No, right.
like I'm not saying that I feel bad for people like that.
Right.
It's like Gary Vee talks about this where he's like trust fund kids, right? These freaking trust fund babies or whatever
Yep.
that wind up with hundreds of millions of dollars. He actually feels bad for them.
Yeah,
And because there's nothing that they will always be in their parents' shadow.
yeah,
There's nothing that they can do. Everyone will always be like, you didn't deserve what you have.
Right.
Even if they're grinders.
right,
If
right,
they're
right,
grinders, they can put in as much work as they want. No one will ever respect them
right,
as much as they did the person that actually built it.
right,
I actually know a guy like that down in South Florida where he inherited, this gigantic company, right? Took it over when he was like super young, 23 or 24,
Mhm.
and he's grown it 10x,
yeah.
like literally.
Yeah, when
And
nobody looks at it, they probably
no
just
one-
no one sees that he grew at 10x. They just saw that his parents gave him that company.
Correct.
Right?
And the amount of unhappiness coming from that is horrible.
Oh yeah, dude.
Do I envy that? I do. I would love to have inherited hundreds
Oh,
of
absolutely. Yeah, hell yeah.
right? But at the same time, I can see myself like doing everything that I've done here,
Right.
with the house and the life that I built for myself.
Right.
Definitely take pride in that,
Yeah.
right?
I
So
feel
it's
like you
I
also
don't know.
learn from that too. Like, I mean, yeah, it's great to have a fuck ton of money, but at the same time, like, when you build something on your own, you learn like how hard it actually is, and like you learn from the struggle. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like the best way to learn is to learn from the struggle, and like it'll teach you more than anything that you can learn inside of a book. Just to get knocked down like a bunch of times and just have to stand back up and just be resilient so that you could have what you actually wanted is, I think probably one of the best teachers that you could probably have, you know?
No, for sure. And it's I feel bad for people on both ends of the spectrum.
Mm.
I feel bad for people that grew up with nothing and they feel like they're trapped,
Yeah.
right? And they feel like they just can't catch a break
Yep.
or whatever. Like they're in that mindset of like they started with nothing and they wind up with nothing and they still have nothing.
Yeah, but
And
you just
and
even
they're
but you
and
just
they're
said it
and
yourself.
they're
Like
and they're and they're and they're unhappy.
it's a mindset thing. You know what I mean? Like, and I fully believe in that. I think it's a mindset thing because one of the biggest things that you need to learn how to do in your life is to learn how to get outside of your own head. Because I know everybody has that little voice inside their head that tells them what to do and shit like that. And as soon as you could silence that voice in your head, then you'll have full control over whatever the hell you want.
No, for sure. And I definitely you're still in Connecticut, right?
Yeah.
And I want to kind of touch on this.
Yep.
You're still in Connecticut. It's where you were born. It's where
Right.
you grew up. The majority, vast majority, can't remember what the percentage is. It's very high.
Hmm.
The vast majority of people never leave where they grew up.
Yeah.
They don't,
Right.
right?
I think that's because they feel comfortable and people are afraid of being uncomfortable.
They have a network there.
Yeah.
They have a safety net,
Exactly.
right? If you moved out to where no one is, let's say you moved out to Eugene, Oregon.
Yeah.
We don't know anyone out there.
Right.
So if you fail out there, what are you going to do? You're done.
Yeah.
If you fail in Connecticut,
I could just
you can
Go
crash on your buddy's couch.
yeah.
You have a network there.
Right.
I definitely think that a big part of the the wealth issues, like the wealth, what's the word? The distribution
Mm.
that we have in America
Hmm.
is directly tied to people not wanting to move from where they grew up.
Yeah.
For sure.
And I think that holds a lot of successful people back too. Like, I think if you want to be successful, you got to move outside of your boundaries. Like, you have to. You know what I mean? Like, you're never going to become, not saying you'll never, but the odds of you becoming successful moving elsewhere than you being successful from where you're born and raised is a lot higher percentage, I feel like.
No, for sure. Like I say consider myself lucky, but
Mm.
18, I moved out of Connecticut. I never went back.
Yeah.
I've been back a couple times to visit,
Yeah.
right?
And this is what I always tell people too, like, you could advocate for it. Like, if you move away, like, everything is still going to be where you came from. Like, you still have friends in Connecticut that have never left. The fucking same pizza parlor that you went to when you were 16-year-old is still there. Like, nothing's going to change. If you want to change yourself, you need to move and find something better because everything that is in your hometown is always going to be there. You might have a friend that moves somewhere else, but you can go fly to him. You know what I mean?
No, for sure. And me being, in geospatial and spatial, stats and stuff, you can look at literally like wealthy areas and poor areas, right? So it's like, and that would make sense because if you grew up in poverty or your parents make 30K a year, 40K a year, and you never leave, like you can really, like it's very difficult to go beyond what your mentor has, right?
Yeah,
So
they say it's like you're a product of your own environment.
yeah. So if I have a mentor like that's Gary V,
Mm.
right? Like or someone that's super successful, like my ceiling is now raised.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah,
So it's kind of like you being in hockey, right?
Yeah.
For as long as you were. If you played every day on the Chicago Blackhawks, you practiced with them like
Oh yeah,
saves and
your
and
potential is going to be so much higher.
dude, like you're gonna be not say as good as those guys, but you'd be a lot better than you are right now.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right? So I definitely think that that's the same way. And kind of what we touched upon earlier at lunch today is like you're the product of your 4 or 5 closest friends.
Yeah.
Or you're the average of your closest 4 or
Right.
5 friends, right? So if your friends are bums or if your friends aren't doing anything,
Right.
they're these, as Joe Rogan says it, I can't catch a break guys, and
Yeah.
they're just not doing anything. You get like
You got to go. You have to. Because if not,
it's-
you're going to be in the same position that you're always in.
Yeah, correct. And I definitely feel like I have a very good network of friends
Yeah.
and mentors within my circles and my community and stuff that, can possibly help you get a job to move out here.
Yeah.
Right? Or however you want to look at that. And it looks like we're getting some echo in the mic again. I don't know what's going on. But yeah, I definitely like it'd be awesome if you can move out here for sure. And I hope that my network can help you out with that.
Yeah.
We have to submit some job apps, but
Right. Yeah. Definitely.
yeah, no, I think it's just really interesting, right? And I would
It's.
like
I
to
think it's. I
start.
think it's interesting because like the amount of opportunities that are across the country or across the world, and just people are just so content with being where they're at. It's like everybody talks about being a millionaire, right? But like nobody wants to actually, you know, put in the work to be a millionaire, or they don't want to move to have the opportunity to become a millionaire. You know what I mean? Like it
Oh
just like
yeah,
it,
for
it like
sure, for sure.
baffles me.
Yeah, no, you know, something that mom always told me, which I don't know if she ever told you this, but when better is possible, good isn't enough,
Right.
right? And that's been a phrase that has literally stuck with me for my entire life.
Yeah.
Like I'm in a good position right now,
Yeah.
and but I'm still
But you want more.
when better is better possible.
Yeah.
Can I be doing better?
Right.
Yes. If better is possible, then good isn't enough. And I think it's a blessing and a curse because I don't think I'll ever be content with where I'm at.
Yeah.
Because
But that's good though.
I'll always, is it good? Because do you really want to die or be like 80 years old and be like, man, I, I could have done better,
I mean, I
right?
guess but like I guess like eventually at like one point you're gonna realize that what you have like what else are you gonna like what else are you gonna want to work for? You know what I mean? Like if like you're flying private and you have these nice cars and like all that stuff, like what else? What do you want to have your own fucking island? You know what I mean? Like at what point do you sit there and realize, okay, like I have everything that I ever wanted. I have enough money to go wherever I want, to eat whatever I want, to buy whatever I want. Like at what point do you realize like then you have
I want to make a difference.
yeah.
I want to have such an impact in making other people's lives better.
Yeah.
If I don't hit that, then
Mm.
I don't think I'll be content with my life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Like
That makes sense.
David Goggins came on. There was a podcast that he came on. And he said he thinks that hell will be you meeting yourself at its highest like potential. Like, what if in another universe you were,
Okay.
you know what I mean,
Yeah.
a super business person like
Yeah.
Gary Vee, and then you meet him as like, dude, what happened?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Like how do you explain that to yourself?
Yeah.
Or like I hear about these things where it's like, you know, what would you say to your 15? Like, would your 15-year-old self look at you now and be like, dude, that's sick?
Yeah, 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 right. I always think about that. It's like
I don't know. Like my 15-year-old self, like you know how we grew up.
right.
Like my 15-year-old self, I would say I'd be pretty happy
Yeah.
with how I wound up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, is that like? Does that make sense? Like what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, 100%. I think that definitely, and I try to say that to myself all the time because like I think about like stuff like that where like when I was like younger and like all the shit that I wanted, like I don't have all the shit that I wanted now that I did when I was like 15 or 16 years old. But like I think if 15 or 16-year-old me looked at like myself and be like, damn, bro, like you're not doing too bad for yourself. Like, obviously, I know people that are like a little bit more successful than I am and stuff like that. But it's just like
Yeah. Like,
everybody has different routes, you know?
like you definitely can't compare yourself to other people. You have to
Right.
compare yourself to yourself.
Right.
Right. So are you better now than you were a year or two ago?
Oh, I think I'm like substantially better than I was than a year or two ago.
You do for
Yeah,
sure.
100%, dude. Like, I feel like a year or 2 years ago, I was just like stuck in the mud, not knowing what the fuck I wanted to do, like just like stuck, really stuck. And I was in a bad place mentally too. You know what I mean? Like, I try not to talk on like depression and stuff like that because I really think that's like a mindset type of thing. You know, I don't know. Maybe you feel different, but I feel like you can only really be depressed is if you tell yourself you're depressed. You know what I mean? Like the feeling that you get when you're depressed sucks, but like you could like wake up and like do things so you're not depressed, you know?
I definitely know that I don't know enough about
Mm.
the human brain and psychology and stuff. I do know that manic depression, based on what our cousin Cody said, because he's a psychology major,
Yeah.
whatever, so that depression is one of the most overly diagnosed
Yeah.
things in America.
Right.
Right. I definitely think that depression is real. I
Mhm.
definitely think people are depressed, and there's chemical imbalances and things like that in their
Mhm.
brains, and they use drugs to regulate that.
That's nothing. I don't think you should use drugs to regulate that shit.
I
I feel like man, like there's a lot of people that talk about cold plunging now, and I think cold plunging is probably one of the best things that you can do for yourself. for mentally, physically, emotionally, cold plunging is just something that like helps like it calluses your body, calluses your brain.
So just to give people that might be watching this that have no idea what you're talking about,
Yeah, yeah.
explain what cold plunging is.
There's like a couple ways you can do it. You can either, get a cold, like you can go get a trash can, a clean trash can, fill it up with ice cold water, put ice in it, and sit in there for 30 seconds to a minute, and then gradually get better. Or you can start off with a hot shower, turn your hot water completely off, sit in the cold water for 30 seconds. And actually, what it does is it actually teaches your body how to deal with stress. Not only is it good for your mind, but it's actually good for your cardiovascular system as well. So for people that have like heart conditions and stuff like that, that's one of the reasons why I do it, is because obviously our father passed away of undiagnosed heart disease, and to keep your heart in good shape, you need
Which
to.
is the leading cause of death in the United States, by the way.
Yes. So it's good for your mental strength, and it's actually great for your cardiovascular system as well. So that's why I do it. And I think with that's one of those things that helped me make decisions with less emotions. Like, because a lot of people make decisions based on their emotions, and I think if you do that, odds not saying that you're going to make the wrong decision, but it might not be as accurate as if you could sit there and actually make a decision without emotions. And actually, you were the one that told me about that, Jeff. Like, I remember, like I would get into a lot of arguments with people, and Jeff would be like, "Hey, man, like, you need to not make decisions based on your emotions." And I think by doing the cold plunge and stuff like that, like I could actually like sit there and make decisions, like without my emotions. I could really sit there and like, think about it and not have so many emotions, because the cold plunge helps you deal with stress.
What's the name of the book that you read?
It's called the Wim Hof method. That goes into the breathing techniques that I think are another great way to deal with your stress and your emotions. It's like you hyperventilate for, I don't know, 25 to 30 breaths, and then you hold your breath for about a minute and a half. And what it does is it actually alkalizes your blood. So you get more oxygen in your blood instead of CO2. So like you are taking in more oxygen and letting out more uh, CO2. I think
And
that's.
what does that do? Like that's a lot of sciencey type stuff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
Very
and
scientific.
it's like
Like so,
what?
like Wim Hof injected himself with like SARS, the SARS virus. And by him doing, like these cold plunging and the breathing techniques, like I think he like the virus couldn't even attach to the cells of his body because his blood was so alkalized. And there's like people that have MS, they say that they do it, and like their what's it called? Their side effects, or their like their pain that they go through is actually like completely like it's downsized. Like they don't have to take medication or anything when they're doing these things. People with MS, people with like a whole bunch of different medical conditions are doing these breathing techniques and cold plunging, and it's changing their lives.
That's super interesting. I have to read up more about it. Maybe I'll read that book.
Yeah,
But
dude.
um, one thing you mentioned earlier was it helped you make your decisions less emotionally,
Yeah.
right?
Mm.
That's probably one of the more. That's probably one of the most difficult things that I've that I've done in my life,
Mm.
right? Is recognizing how I'm feeling in real time,
Yeah.
saying like, I'm feeling angry. Maybe someone
Mm.
cuts me off or whatever,
Right, right, right.
right? Or I get an argument with my wife. When you get emotional, you can't think logically.
Right.
You can't,
No.
right? So if you're debating someone, for example, right, and I know that some people use this as like a tactic to win debates is to I'll say something super triggering,
Right.
and now you're pissed off, and now you can't think straight. Now I'm gonna fucking just own you.
Destroy you.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because every thought that you're making is based off emotion.
And you get these people that are like, I win because I yell louder,
Yeah.
right? But
Right.
like when they watch footage back, like, oh, I felt really good during that argument
Yeah,
because
yeah.
because I was a lot more aggressive
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
whatever. But in reality, you got fucking smoked
Right.
because what you're saying wasn't logical at all,
Right. You're
right?
just yelling.
That's probably one of the most difficult things that changed my life was knowing when I'm feeling emotional about something, like understanding that it's a normal response, that I have a normal emotional hardwiring,
Right.
right? That's like the first thing. And that's ultimately why I started therapy,
Yeah.
right? Was you have these psychologists and psychiatrists that literally have dedicated their lives to studying this shit,
Yep.
right? Think about these jujitsu pros that all they do all day, like Mikey Musumeci or whatever his name is, trains 14 hours a day,
Right.
right? And he's one of the best jujitsu practitioners on the planet,
Yeah.
right? You get these people that all they do is they study psychology and they study psychiatry and like they are absolute fucking experts in it.
Right.
So why I started going to therapy is like I want to know if my emotional hardwiring, my emotional circuitry is normal.
Yeah. Or is it
Is
all
it
fucking
like
messed up
is it normal for me to be getting upset
over?
at my wife for doing this?
Yeah. Right.
Turns out it is.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's a perfectly reasonable reason
Right, to be able to recognize that, but then, like, you need to and, like, the biggest thing that I learned about, like, this is, like, making those decisions, and, like, it sounds so stupid and cliche, but you just need to breathe. You know what I mean? Like, when you get emotional, you just need to sit there and you for me, what I like, it sounds stupid, but, like, I sit there and I literally count in 10 seconds. I take a deep breath in for 10 seconds, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then exhale for 10 seconds, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And, like, it kinda, like, recenters me.
I definitely think that, no offense to you,
Yeah.
I think it's something that you still struggle with
Think so?
because just I've seen you more in the past year than I probably have in the
Yeah.
last.
No, but okay,
Like,
I maybe I still struggle with it.
and there have been times where you have been so fucking triggered that I know that you're not consciously
No,
saying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10
no,
and then,
but
and then
I
taking a deep breath.
but maybe I'm not perfect at it, but I am a lot better at it than I was a couple years ago.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I don't think anybody's perfect.
Yeah, no.
Because you still get because we get into arguments like I don't know maybe yesterday about the whole jujitsu thing, and there was and you were getting triggered a little bit. I could see that.
I was
You
not. I was not getting
you know,
triggered.
and I think it's funny that you say that because and I'm gonna say this for everybody to hear, right? All these cameras. He'll never admit when he's wrong.
I will. I admit when
He
I'm wrong
won't.
all the time.
He won't.
I will.
Okay.
I will.
All right.
Right? Like I'll admit that yesterday that workout that we did at the jiu-jitsu gym was more difficult than what I anticipated.
Yeah.
How is that not me admitting that I'm wrong?
Okay.
Well, no, I'm saying.
No.
So you just made
No, but what I'm saying is
you just made a proclamation that Jeff never admits when he's wrong.
right, and then now
So me
right.
admitting that I'm wrong in real time,
Yeah.
your whole proclamation is fucking
Just
shut
gone.
down.
It's gone.
It's gone.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Right. So to say so to go back to your whole women driver thing, you're
Yeah.
like, oh, all women drivers are shit.
But there's outliers.
Not saying outliers, right?
No, but
so hold on. So what data would you have to see? And I don't want to go back to the whole women driver thing, but I'm just saying, like, what data would you have to see in order for you to say women are definitively better than men at driving? What data would you have to see in order for you to change your mind?
it would have to I would have to see that what was it? There was 6 million male drivers to like 4 million female drivers. It would have to be the same. There'd have to be 5 million male drivers, 5 million female drivers. Who gets into more accidents? It doesn't matter how fast they're going.
No, so what I'm saying is so let's look at both ends of the spectrum, right?
Yep.
So even though there's more male drivers on average and there's less female drivers, you're never going to be able to normalize that, right?
Right.
That's like equal outcomes. It's impossible to get to, right? What if I showed you a data set that said out of the majority of male drivers, over 50%, they get into accidents.
Okay.
And 10% women get into accidents.
Okay.
Would you then believe that women are better drivers than men if you saw that data set definitively?
I mean, based off the data, like you would have to, but off of my personal experience, I wouldn't.
No. Not talking about personal experience.
Oh well, I am
Because the personal experience is emotion. Like that's how you have to look at it.
But it's
like
not
it's
because
such a small data set.
It's my experience.
but your
Am
experience
I
is such a small data
am
set.
I am I experiencing them testing these drivers out, and I'm watching 50% of the men get into car accidents and only 10% of the females, and they're driving the same speed on the same roads with the same amount of traffic?
See, and I want to make a proclamation here.
Mm.
Okay, just stop everything for a second. Okay. This is a problem that I and not saying you're the problem. I'm saying that statement that you just mentioned,
Yeah.
I think is a huge problem in the United States,
Why's
right?
that?
Because you look at racism, for example,
Right.
right? Because a minority experiences racism in Southern Alabama,
Mhm.
and their experience is that all white people are racist to them. They're making a proclamation that all white people are now racist
Right.
because of their small data size,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right? You go anywhere else, right? Maybe you go somewhere else. Maybe you go to Eugene, Oregon,
Mhm.
right, where it's
You're big on Eugene, Oregon today,
well,
huh?
I'm a big fan of Eugene,
All
Oregon,
right.
right? Um, just because your experiences exist,
Yeah.
I'm not downplaying that.
Yeah, yeah.
But just because you experienced what you experienced does not mean that that's the norm for the masses,
Right.
right?
No, 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 I understand that.
So why? So, but you still think that women are bad drivers based off solely based on your experience,
Right.
right?
Yes.
So, but you understand that your sample size is so small that you're making a proclamation on something that is, brushing however many millions of drivers with a single brush.
Mhm.
You understand that that's like not good?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, like, I get it, but, like, at the same time, that what you're saying is making sense, 100%. But, like, it's very hard to, say that, what you're saying is, just based off the driving thing. It's you were saying that 50% of males get into more accidents or stuff like that. But it's like, I feel like men drive more.
Men do drive more.
Right. So if men are driving more, they're more prone to get into more accidents. Correct? If you play the lottery, if you only play the lottery once and you lose every single time.
But the normalized data that we looked at clearly showed that men get into more accidents.
No, women get into more accidents.
Women get into more
More
accidents.
men
Yes.
have more fatal accidents.
Here, let me pull up camera 4 here so we can kind of look at this. Who causes more accident? Shout out to Malman Law, Chicago personal injury lawyers.
There you go. Even though Chicago's going downhill here pretty quick, but thank you,
Yeah.
Malman.
Yeah, we can later, but so the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration reports that men cause an average of 6.1 million accidents per year in the U.S. and women cause 4.4 million accidents. Males do 60% of the driving, but only cause 58% of the accidents. So women do cause slightly more accidents per capita than men. But
Men have more fatal accidents.
men have way more fatal crashes. Well, women were, it's like 37,000 to 13,000. It's like not even
So
close.
it's like doubled.
It's like
Over doubled.
Yeah. So it's like, it's very interesting. I'll have to dig into this. I'll have to dig into the data because
Yeah.
I used to work for DOT, U.S.
Yeah, yeah.
U.S. Department of Transportation, so I'd be able to find that data pretty easily. This was in 2017 too, so
Yeah.
but yeah, so I don't know. I don't use my personal experiences
Right.
for how I think about the world and the universe per se, right?
Yeah, right.
So, because if I did, I have a very narrowed view of what my experiences are like.
Yeah, yeah,
right?
definitely.
So, like, I'm a big data guy, right?
Yeah.
Like here we have raw numbers from 2017, and that's ultimately how I'm going to make up my mind,
Yeah, yeah.
right? So, and I'm
No,
always
but I think
willing.
that's good because you're more of a data person. I'm more of
A what?
personal experience person. So that's why our opinions kind of conflict with each
But
other,
we
and I think
just
that
established,
makes it more
but
interesting.
you just agreed with me that your personal experience is such a narrow view.
Right, because it's my personal experience.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm not saying that, the person, say we invite somebody on this podcast, that they're gonna have the same, perspective as I am. You know what I mean? That's the way I feel. It doesn't matter whether Jimmy at home is watching this and he doesn't care that the way I feel. You know what I mean? That's the way that I feel. And that's my experience. That's my perspective. And just like you are a big data guy. Am I gonna say, oh, you're wrong because you're listening to numbers? No. You know what I mean? There's studies behind that, but I have my own studies.
What are your studies?
Personal experience. Being in the car when a woman says, "Hey, Pat, I can't parallel park. Can you parallel park for me?" Of course I can, honey.
Okay,
I'll go parallel park for you.
how many times has that happened to you?
Every time I go
Okay,
downtown
how many
with a
times
female.
specifically?
At over 25.
Okay, so 25 times.
Over 25.
How many million women are there in the United States?
I think what's the population? Almost at 8 billion. So I
No,
don't know.
I'm talking about the United States.
Oh, United States.
It's like probably close
Um,
to 380 million.
Yeah.
So
So
half of
divide
them.
that in half.
Yeah. So
So
it's like you have 25 of how many millions of women are in the United States?
yeah,
It's like
no.
it's 0.0000001%, or it's probably even
Yeah,
worse
probably
than
less
that.
than that, right? But like I I have yet to be with a female that when we're downtown, she could parallel park.
Okay. So if your experience with veterans is
Mm.
that every time that you meet a veteran,
Yeah.
they have PTSD and they're crazy.
Yeah.
So do you now think that all veterans have PTSD and are crazy?
Well, see, with my experience, my personal experience, I've only met, I don't know, maybe a handful of people that had real bad PTSD. And the only time that they are scary to be around is when they go into PTSD mode.
I'm not talking about your actual experience.
Yeah.
I'm talking about a hypothetical.
Hypothetical.
Hypothetically,
Yeah.
if every veteran that you met
Right.
had PTSD
Yeah.
and was, on that next level of,
Uh, So
aggressiveness or
they are
whatever.
just always on go mode 24/7.
Every
Like,
let's just say every single one that you met.
yeah.
Maybe say you met 25,
Yeah.
or so
And
let's say
every
30.
time I
So
saw
let's say
them,
30.
yeah.
So let's say you meet 30 and 25 of them
Yep.
are super aggressive.
Yeah.
Are you now going to say that all veterans are
Are
super
aggressive?
aggressive?
Probably, yeah, because that's my personal experience.
Okay. That's fine. I mean, I'm not
You know what I
saying
mean?
you're right or wrong. I'm just saying, like, I think that that it'll distort your view of the universe.
Yeah.
For sure. Right? Especially if you have like a tribal mindset.
Well, it's just like, man, you go to the slums in Brazil, right? And everybody you meet there is, you know, uh rude, or you know what I mean, like like angry that you're there, and that whatever. Are you gonna feel comfortable going into the slums every time you go to Brazil?
No.
Okay, so that's the same thing that I just said to you that you agreed with
Well,
me.
no, I would feel
No,
okay.
you would,
Yeah.
if every time you went there, it was just like it was just sketchy.
Like how many times?
Like, I don't know, 10 times.
So if I go to a specific neighborhood in wherever,
No, not
it doesn't have to
specific,
be
just like,
Brazil. If I go in a certain area 10 times,
yeah.
it probably wouldn't take me 10 times to realize that I shouldn't be there.
Okay, and then how is that any different from what I just said?
That's a good point.
Right?
Yeah. But I mean, you're also looking at
Because what I go off of
you're also
experience.
looking at like that's the difference between survival though,
Mm.
right? So like if I go to an area and my life is at risk or my health is at risk,
You're obviously not gonna go back there.
right? So that's more of a survival thing,
Yeah.
right? What you're talking about is more of an ideology. And that's why the two are different. You know what I mean? So it's like to say, oh, all women are this because of your experience with women, right? Is different from, hey, I'm in a dangerous fucking area, right? If I go into a lion's cage,
Right.
right? Every single time the lion's probably going to fuck me up, or a gorilla cage or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So it's a difference between survival and an ideology. That's why the two are different.
Hmm.
Would you agree?
Yes and no.
What do you not agree with?
I don't agree with the fact that, like, the survival thing. Like, I don't really agree with that because, like, you have if if you don't know what to, like, look out for, if you're not street smart, you're not gonna know if you're in a safe area or not. If you're not aware of your surroundings, you're not gonna know if you're in a safe area or not. Am I wrong?
I'm gonna say that you're wrong only because as mammals, like as animals,
Yeah,
right? We are animals, we are mammals, right?
correct.
We definitely have like if you think about and they've done studies on this where they've measured, rabbits' anxiety levels when they're put into like the cage of like a snake or
Right,
something,
right, right, right.
right? They know that they're in a bad place,
Yeah,
like just inherently,
right.
right? They know that they're in a bad situation,
Mm,
right? So I definitely think that if you're if you're in a bad area, you can feel it.
yeah.
You can feel that you're not supposed to be there.
Mhm.
There certainly are places that are deceptive,
Right, right, right.
for sure, but on the most part, you could pretty much have the awareness, right? And I know that your argument is that people aren't street smart or whatever, and there are and there obviously is a spectrum, right? There are people that are extremely street smart and that have that awareness. I think that the people that right there's probably a level there
Yeah.
of people that are just completely unaware of where they're
Yeah, yeah,
at
yeah.
for sure. I say that the vast majority, I'm just throwing in a number, over 90% of people are going to know that they're in a bad situation.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I see. I see.
But I'm also coming from like a science background,
Right.
right? Like studying environmental
Right,
science
right, 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 right.
and stuff like that, right? So it's like no one really thinks about the environmental science of humans,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Like what is our environment right now?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
our physical environment. How do these things interact with each other?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah, I don't know. So
Damn. How long you been on this for?
I'm going for about an hour 20 right now. But just to kind of wrap things up, I wanted to ask you about your experience with the au pair.
Huh. What do you wanna know?
Well, what's been going on?
Yeah. I don't know, just, like, chilling and stuff like that.
You mentioned when we started that you're in love with her.
Yeah, that was I guess that was a
What? It was a
tough
mistake?
tough no, it wasn't a mistake, but I think it's, I don't know, it's different, man. Like, we me and her were actually talking about it yesterday, how it's just, like, things are, like, different with her, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, like, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, but it's like I've had girlfriends in the past and stuff like that, but it's just like, I don't know, you feel a little bit different towards her. Or I feel a little bit different towards her, you know?
So,
Like,
like, are you guys boyfriend, girlfriend? Like, are you mutually exclusive? Like, where are you
I
guys
mean,
at
like,
right now?
I'm mutually exclusive. I don't know what the hell she's doing, but I think she is. But I think the whole like boyfriend girlfriend thing is like tough because like we're like far away, and like the long distance kind of sucks. So who knows? Maybe if I end up moving out here.
People do long distance.
No, I know, and I did long distance for a while too, but
Not something you're interested in?
long distance,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd have to think about it. You know what I mean?
Would you be
It gets tricky because I don't know. I'm like all about like the physical touch. You know, actually being able to be with the person instead of like you know, FaceTiming is nice and everything because like you could be there, but like there's nothing like giving someone a hug or a kiss. You know what I mean?
that's like the whole love languages thing,
Yeah.
right? So, given the opportunity to be an official title,
Yeah.
would you do it or no?
Putting me on the spot here, huh,
I'm
man?
putting you on the spot. Putting you on the spot.
Yeah, I want to see why not.
Okay. Did you guys have you guys kissed or like what's the
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
you have?
yeah, yeah. We're making our rounds.
When was your first kiss?
The day that I flew here.
On the first day?
Yeah. Oh,
So
no, not like I'm talking about, like, when I got here on Tuesday. It was all fucked up when, like, I left the first time, like, we ended up sleeping together and stuff like that, but, like,
sleeping together, what do you mean?
just, like, sleeping in the same bed, we didn't actually, like, do anything.
Okay.
But then, like, when I left, it was, like, weird because, like, we weren't really sure, like, how it was gonna work when I left. It was, like, um, I don't know, like, just kinda caught us both by surprise, and then, we FaceTime for a month, and then she told me her birthday was Saturday, so happy birthday, Alex. It'll be tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Um, and I decided to surprise her, so then when I actually flew out here on Tuesday, that's when
But the surprise wasn't really a surprise.
it was, because she didn't know when I was coming. She just knew that I was coming the weekend of her birthday.
Okay. But she knew that you were
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
she
yeah.
knew that you were gonna come.
Yeah, yeah, you know how women get, man, they get all emotional and shit like that, so, like, like, you don't want them to, like, be sad that, like, 'cause, like, being so far away and her from being from, like, a different country, there's probably, like, a lot of uncertainty for her. So it's like, I'd rather, give her a little bit of certainty that she'll see me eventually than just, like, keeping it up in the air, you know what I mean?
That makes sense. So what do you think like when I interview her
Yeah.
later,
Yep.
what do you think she's gonna say?
Shit. I don't know, man. I guess we're gonna find out, right? Hopefully she says the same things.
So okay, gotcha. So what is your you guys are going out to dinner tonight, right?
Yeah.
Do you know where do you know where you're going in Denver yet?
Yeah, I think we're gonna hit that place up you told me about, the green squaggle or whatever the hell it was called.
The Green Russell.
Yeah, the
which is
Green
on River
Russell.
Square.
Yeah, and then probably go out, get a few drinks, and then maybe we'll find a cool place to go dance around a little bit. I don't know, just have a good night. Keep it loose.
When you do drinks at the Green Russell, you're not gonna want to go anywhere else.
No?
That's the best cocktails in
Fire?
the city.
Yeah.
Absolute fucking fire. For sure. Shout out to Green Russell.
Green Russell. The green squaggle.
But okay, I think we'll go ahead and end it on that. Thanks for everyone listening in.
Shout out
Podcast number 1.
in the books.
Hopefully, if Patrick can find a job out here, he can be, like an official host of
Co-host.
the show,
Co-host.
right? And then we kind of go from there. But
I think it'd be good because we have a lot of the same opinions, but then we also have a lot of opinions that differ from each other. You know what I
Well,
mean? So I think I'll keep it interesting.
I definitely like to play devil's advocate.
I mean,
Like,
yeah.
whenever I'm talking to anyone, I like to
Yeah,
take
play
the
both
opposite
sides, yeah.
side,
Yep.
So, but all right, podcast number 1 done in the books.
Shout out everybody.
We have,
Shout out
like I'm gonna say that
unofficial sponsor, Woodsford Reserve. Shout out to you guys.
unofficial. So I'm gonna say that I'm gonna give $100
Ooh,
Venmo to whoever the first subscriber is to the channel,
there we go.
and I'll give another $100 to
The 10th subscriber.
the 10th.
I like that.
And if you're listening to this, screenshot that you subscribed and the number that you're in subscribe, and I'll Venmo you $100.
Bingo. How you doing?
Bingo. Okay. All right, everyone. Thanks for tuning in.
Shout
I
out.
highly appreciate it. And
Almost relative.
this is the Mostly Relative Podcast. Bye.